Alright, I'm gonna let you get it out of your system now. The comments about babyface rose tires. I don't know why I'm looking at my wrist. I don't even have a watch. Let's get into today's video though. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be really fun. It's a sit down, of course, unfortunately. I'm actually filming this directly after Tuesday's video, which I'm wearing the same clothes. No, actually, I'm wearing different clothes. I just got out of the shower. But anyway, today's video is going to be why winter is the best season for car enthusiasts. Fall and winter, I should say. And there's a lot of stuff. I'm also going to talk about some drawbacks. Don't worry, all you summer fiends, you spring guys, whatever. I'm going to, of course, go into the drawbacks of fall and winter as well when it comes to this car enthusiast. So, fall is actually my favorite season, and the reason for that is it's not too hot, it's not too cold, about 65 degrees here where I'm from in Georgia. Very nice weather out here, in the fall at least. It sucks in the summer. But the temperatures run around 65 degrees or less, usually between 50 and 60 most days. For example, today was absolutely amazing. It was like a 60, 70 degree day. It was a little bit warmer, but it wasn't hot enough to boil your inserts body part here. But the scenery is amazing with all the leaves on the ground for photo shoots and stuff like that. If you guys don't already follow me on Instagram, you guys should go check them out. I'm going to be doing some more fall shoots later on. Anyway, we're going to get started with one of the first things, the most important thing about fall and winter when it comes to car enthusiasts. Boost season. Anyone who knows the colder temps knows, whether it's a car enthusiast with a turbocharger or a supercharger, knows that freaking the fall and the winter is the best season to have something like that in your car. The reason for that, the colder temps go into the turbo or supercharger in some cases. More cold air, more fuel, more power. Because cold air is more dense than hot air. So obviously that more dense air is going to hit a lot harder. It's going to cause a much better air-to-fuel system going on in there. And in turn, will boost your power up. There's also less heat soak, which also plays a part into the more dense cold air. Even naturally aspirated cars with cold air intakes seem to get a slight bump in power compared to how they are in the summer due to heat soak. I said heat sink earlier. Heat soaking. Even myself, I have a cold air intake on the truck. A lot of people say it's not a real cold air intake because you don't have a heat shield, but it is a legit cold air intake. The only difference is that stupid heat shield, which only really does anything at idle. At least that's from what I've been told. You get a bit of a notice. I usually in the summer would idle, when I idle, my heat temps, my air intake system would jump to at least 120, 130 degrees some days, depending on how hot it was outside. Now, as of right now, the hottest it's ever gotten to was when I was sitting in the school parking lot to pick my sister up, and it touched like 90. So even as guys with cold air intakes, naturally aspirated engines are getting a bit of an advantage. But anyone with a choo-choo boy or a whiny boy knows exactly how amazing the weather is. Another thing is, like I was saying, the scenery. For a lot of you guys who like to do photography work in your cars, a lot of people, and I follow on Instagram, you got Summit SS, even DBP, another YouTuber as well. Guys like those guys that take fantastic pictures. They are really good with fall scenery. A lot of the fall pictures that they've taken are some of my favorites. Because they get the scenery down every time. They get all of the angles, all of the filters just mesh perfect with fall scenery. The leaves on the ground, the red and orange color scheme of the landscape of what's going on in the fall. Even in the winter, with the cloudy skies, the snow can make for some epic photos for cars, especially if you're like me and tend to get frozen in your driveway every winter, which is why I prefer fall over winter. Even though guys with choo-choo boys and whiny boys get much better boost in the winter than they do in the fall. Better in the fall. You get the idea. As well as, like I was saying, there's a lot more events in the fall as well. Typically, car meet season starts to wind down in the fall, and it's completely dead in the winter, unless you're like Georgia, have caffeine and octane every month, regardless of whatever happens. It could be ice on the roads, and they still be holding that show. But the car meet season winds down, but you also get in the daytime a lot more people show up because the temperatures are perfect. They want to bring out their 65 Chevelle or their Nova. I don't know if the Chevelle was actually made in 65. Don't kill me, please, Chevy fanboys. You know, they want to bring out their 69 Mustang. They want to bring out their Celine S7 even. You know, guys with expensive or vintage cars are gonna want to bring them out in these temps, and especially when it's sunny or partly cloudy outside and everything's just perfect, they're gonna bring their cars out. Convertible guys like my friend Hayden with his S2000 even. Hayden leaves his top down at all times. It will be snowing outside, and I'm willing to bet this winter, if it snows in Georgia, he will have his top down at some point. But riding in his car is so much better in the fall than it is in the summer. Convertibles are much better suited for the summer and fall, more the fall than the summer in my opinion. Winter-wise, like I was saying, in the winter, you get a much more aggressive boost season than you do with the fall. You get a lot colder temps, especially if you're up north. You guys in New York, I'm jealous of you guys for the boost you get, the added air you get in your forced induction up there. Not the snow. The snow sucks, and the salt sucks because it ruins cars. But 9 times out of 10, the unfortunate thing with the winter is a lot of people winterize their cars in storm, meaning they can't use the added power, but with good reason, because we're going to start with now we're going to be moving into the bad part of winter with this topic here. You don't get any grip. In the fall, you don't worry too much. It's because, you know, tire temps can still get up, especially after a lot of driving. If you drive to a track at least an hour away, your tires are going to get pretty warmed up in the process. As you're driving miles, a lot of them, to go places. For example, the closest drag strips to where I live are both 2 hours away. I can either go to Alabama or I can go to Atlanta, and they're both 2 hours away, so not fun. But I will get my tires warmed up in the process in the fall. In the winter, there's no chance unless you do a massive burnout. Guys with boosted cars, especially those who don't have traction control on like at all, they're going to be spinning like crazy in the snow and ice, and they're more than likely going to wreck, and that's not fun. So that's why a lot of people winterize their cars. They'll put special fluids in the cars. Where I worked at Advance, we had a storage fluid you could buy. You put it in your gas tank and it kept the gas safe. I believe there's one for oil as well. I can't remember. To keep oils from breaking down in the engine over time and to keep fuel from going bad. When you winterize a car, you put it on ramps and all that stuff, tire cushions, whatever you feel, to keep the car, you know, in good condition. So when the sun comes out and it's not 20 degrees, negative 15 degrees if you're way up north, you can drive the car. Now, another drawback is, like I was saying earlier, car meet season tends to die down. A lot of car enthusiasts like myself love to go to meets and events all across the state or local area where they're from. I go to Caffeine and Octane, the local Boosted Mafia meet here in Douglasville, as well as we've gone to Import Alliance. I wanted to go to Grid Life, didn't make that work. But there's a lot of events here in Georgia, for example, and car meet season tends to die down. All the big events for the year have happened by the fall and the winter. You've already had your Import Alliance happen. You've already had your Grid Life happen. You've already had the majority of the big events in your states happen around this time. Now you get a lot of local stuff. For example, we still have Boosted Mafia that will continue typically until around New Year's, and then they shut it down until spring, which is going to be unfortunate because it's going to suck for me. The seasons, though, fall and winter are my favorites, just for the fact that, especially in the fall, you get a lot more use out of your cars. You can experience them a lot more with a lot more power than you could in the summer, because heat soak is so limited in the fall, especially if you're in a southern state or a northern state. Like, it does not matter really where you are, especially in the United States. It does not matter where you are in the fall, because every state is not terribly cold but not terribly hot. Even here in Georgia, like I was saying, it's 60, 70 degrees most days. Florida, on the other hand, it's always boiling hot down there anyway, and it always rains once a day. Every time I've been down to Florida, it rains once a day, but I got to give respect to Florida, guys. You guys got it really good down there with the scenery, with all the beaches and stuff. I'm jealous of you guys. But all that said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this funny little video. I know it wasn't too heavily researched because it's like almost midnight and I have school. I don't feel like researching a crap ton for this video. But I want to just make this little funny video for you guys, kind of also to show off my now lack of facial hair altogether. Basically, I did it because I wanted to get a fresh start for No Shave November as well, which is coming up in just a few days. But with all that said, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys liked the video. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe for more. You can check out my personal build as well. It's not something everyone else likes, but I dig it. The guys who own them dig it. That's all that matters to me. As well as follow me on Instagram, OneLove4.0 for more content with my personal build. A lot of behind the scenes action for videos goes on there as well. So thank you guys again. We'll see you guys next time.